The number of religious claims that have been disproved by science is staggering, and the number of science claims that have been disproved by religion is 0.
Well, what about Lucy, though?
What corrected Lucy?
Well,
Science.
How do you know that she could not have been just a short woman who had a deformity at that time?
You should go look it up, because there's a reason how we find out some things are hoaxes or some things were misunderstood. And that reason is never because Jesus said so. It's always because we did more scientific investigation.
Science is constantly fixing itself. That's the difference. Science is open to new ideas that will cause them to change their ideas about something. Religion starts with a fixed position and sets around trying to prove that. And then when science comes against that fixed position, then religion tries to figure out a way around the science. And that's what they've done with evolution. Wouldn't you agree, Helen, that the problem with evolution is that it takes away the original sin of the Garden of Eden?
So here's the thing. Do we have any evidence that the Garden of Eden story is true?
Well, what about mitochondrial Eve?
Mitochondrial Eve is a constructed beginning of humans. It's not a single person that is the Eve in the biblical story. They used it because the Eve story is so popular that it makes sense. People are like, of all the humans who are alive, our last common ancestor is here. And by the way, that will shift. But what evidence do we have that the Garden of Eden story is true at all?
Well, I read in Time magazine that were there not fossils found in around Mesopotamia?
Helen, are you afraid to answer the question that I've asked? Because I've asked repeatedly, what evidence do we have that the biblical story in Genesis, in the Garden of Eden, is true? Doesn't matter what Life magazine says about fossils. How do you know that the biblical account of the Garden of Eden is true?
Well, how do I know? Because I know because I take it on faith, because God said.
Okay, there you go. There you go. That's what it is. It's faith.
Is there any position
Helen,
that you couldn't take on faith? Because faith is the excuse people give when they don't have a good reason. If you have a good reason and evidence, you provide the good reason and evidence. And when we don't have good reason and evidence, then you just say, I take it on faith.